The JOJOLands is finally back with Chapter 30, West End Girl Part 1, where we seem to be nearing the end of this public servants arc with only one member remaining by the end, Key West, who's decided to betray her employer Howler and has been using her stand from the shadows to steal the lava rock, although it's proving to be more troublesome than she imagined, and Howler is finally starting to notice that something is off here. So let's get into the breakdown and review. The chapter kicks off with a double-page spread showing the police raid at Meryl's Aiko boutique. As in the last chapter, Liam had called the police to help her escape from the bunker before falling ill to Lulu's attack. But when the police enter the back room, everything looks suspiciously clean, with Ninbo's bloody body and any traces of a fight totally gone, with just a strange man alone in the room, a one Dr. Roberts who has been requested by Meryl, although she's nowhere to be seen. And it looks like this guy's name is a musical reference to the song Dr. Robert by the Beatles. So in an instant when Roberts is being escorted out by the police, he's pulled into a crack in the door by the Mate Kudasai and brings him into the real back office. And Usagi explains his stand was able to create a duplicate of the entire room inside of itself, which feels like a reference to Emporio's burning down the house, but also not something I knew this stand was even capable of. Did he create a pocket in space like Sticky Fingers, a duplicate inside the original, or are both rooms taking up physical space? Or maybe it's something to not think about too much and just roll with it. So inside the fake room, we see that Dr. Roberts is extremely privy to the supernatural, Stan's and Meryl's criminal activity, having a history of fixing her up. So like all good crime shows and movies, we gotta have the underworld doctor that helps everyone avoid the police and hospitals, so I would expect to see this guy again throughout the story, who for now is gonna help reattach Paco and Meryl's fingers that were blown off by Ninbo, and Usagi has so thoughtfully sorted and labeled them. Our attention is then drawn to the underground bunker, which is still locked from the inside, and the scene transitions to the underground, where we have Lulu continuing her attack on Liam Shebane. So in the last chapter, we learn that Lulu is most likely Akka Howler's daughter, who he keeps within his control despite not wanting a relationship with her, and uses her more like a tool to protect the Howler land. So since she's been kidnapped, it felt up in the air where her allegiance might fall. Is she resentful of her father? Would she want to go against him? Although she clearly states now that she is on Howler's side, and tells Liam that it's not too late and she can still prove her loyalty to Howler. All she has to do is tell him that Jodio or Dragona have the lava rock right now on your boat. But these words trigger Liam's lying eyes, showing some level of doubt, and what I think they are detecting is her insincerity. She does want to help Howler, she wants to tell him who the enemy is, but she has no interest in saving Liam, and would probably still kill her even if she helped. So the line words here are, "I'll save you." And this triggers Liam's desperation attack, spraying bullets across the room, missing every shot as usual, and is overcome by the bag's groove before being able to reload. And it looks like this is the end for Liam here as her nematodes disappear. Sorry about that, Key West. Lulu then picks up her phone and reaches out to Howler, whose name was slightly updated this chapter with an H added, as he is the H generation, he's all H themed, but would still be pronounced Akka because he's Italian. The chapter then switches scenes over to the mega yacht, where Jodio and Dragona had just encountered a Wonder of You level calamity, with West End Girl taking out multiple FBI agents, framing our crew, and forcing Charming Man to get physical, which reveals his true face. And in the heat of the moment, Jodio and Dragona have a bit of a dispute, disagreeing on the appropriate course of action, where Dragona says, "We've been exposed and have to run away. There's no way Howler is going to sign after all that's happened." But Jodio disagrees, placing his trust in the lava rock, wholeheartedly believing that Howler will sign the land exchange, and they just need to hold their ground. So since Jodio is the protagonist, I'm inclined to believe him, as usually in JoJo whatever they say goes, although I can't really tell if this position is meant to make him look strong and confident, or stubborn and naive. The lava rock is practically out of their possession, they don't have it, Howler is extremely on edge, and Dragona is right, they've been exposed and they're not coming off like bank employees at all anymore. So I wonder if this stubbornness will backfire in the end. As for a majority of the part, Jodio has been on top. They got the lava rock at the start and have used it to make money and save their asses time and time again. And in just a few days, we've got so close to $50 billion. So for Jodio, he might just be too caught up in this positive flow to consider the absurd. We then get this beautiful spread showing the exact point of view and emotions of every player in the story, and creates this feeling of convergence as the two scenes begin to intersect and impact the other side, with Lulu reaching out to Howler, which would expose everything. But just before she makes contact, the chapter of course has to shift to a very technical explanation of Charming Man's skin condition that uses a process called skin cell turnover that makes it become hard like fine-grained stones. So pretty safe to say that Charming Man and his clan aren't rock humans, but I still have my suspicions. We then focus on this FBI agent through Charmy's perspective, who is currently being sieged by West End Girl. And Charming Man uses Big Mouth to remove the helmet and expose the stand. So West End Girl only has its strength when it's within a gap. It amplifies its power. But when on a flat surface, it's still functional. It acts like an extension of Key West, as we see it control this guy's arm and use his gun to blast Charming Man in the side, bringing him to the ground and allows Key West to make an escape with the lava rock towards the drains, but is swiftly stopped by November Rain, casting its heavy droplets upon the stand and reflects the damage to Key West, which would expose her to anyone that notices. And all while Jodio and Dragona are on the attack, walking within the rain, tracking the stand around the deck, Howler is dumbfounded watching all of this play out as we spend the last few pages of the chapter inside his head, and it becomes clear that Howler is kind of a dumbass. If you put a JoJo in this same situation, they would probably use context clues and come to the correct conclusion. But Howler is just like, "Aw man, what's going on here? There must be a stand user on board, but who could it be? Is it one of the FBI agents, maybe Key West? Or one of these teenage bank employees who are totally unfazed by this cartoonish rain cloud following them around?" And just a few chapters ago, he was nearly certain that they had a lava rock, and was seeing its effects, but it's very difficult for him to connect the dots, due to Key West working behind his back, which to be fair is a wild card, but even him keeping Key West so close when he doesn't really know her motivation, and he can reasonably assume that she is a stand user, like her associates, but not know what her stand is not very smart. And to top it all off, Howler literally has all of the answers in the palm of his hand right now, as Lulu calls out to him, waiting for him to answer, and he comically hangs up the phone saying, "Oh, lame shebang, I don't have time for you right now." But it's these obvious flaws that are what make him a likable character, despite his immoral actions, as he's been set up as this main villainous guy, but at every step of the way is humbled, unprepared, betrayed, unable to make obvious deductions, and has no ultimate goal. He lives a hedonistic lifestyle, riding the wave of his family fortune, and it could just be the threat of losing it all that finally kicks him into gear and set him out on some journey to save it all, maybe by capturing the lightning of a new moon and make more lava rocks for future Howler generations. But he does make one good decision in this moment, where he decides that no matter what, he won't be signing the land exchange. And the chapter leaves off with Key West making her escape with the lava rock, while Jodio goes to cut her off and has some sort of plan involving his reign and the pool. An important detail here though is that Charming Man has had his fragments attached to the lava rock since he got shot. So even if the stand gets away, he should be able to track it down or refragment a part of himself to take it back. Or even since we saw he had it in his hand, maybe he used his fragments to create a fake lava rock, which is being foreshadowed by his lingering fragments. So predictions going forward. I really want to see Howler use his stand here. He's been talking a lot about them and now seems like the right time. He's accepted that there are other stand users, multiple stand users on board directly going after him, so I don't see why he wouldn't now use his ability as a defense or to overcome the lava rock's flow. Seems like this would be the perfect, not mid part, but like early villain reveal where we get a glimpse of his stand and he gets away. I also think the most interesting outcome would be for Howler to win here. Escape with the lava rock, gain some perspective, get the upper hand and shift the power dynamic in favor of the villain, and actually give the heroes a mountain to climb and maybe learn from their mistakes in this first heist. And I'd of course love to hear any of your guys' predictions where you think this story might be going, and we'll continue the discussion until the next chapter, which is going to be around this time in December, no hiatus. So that's going to be my JOJOLands Chapter 30 review and breakdown. Thank you all so much for watching. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you all real soon in my next video.